What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Welcome on in each and every, I want to say dinosaurs. I want to say dinos, but I think we all know what's more important than dinosaurs this league. What's more important than merfolk and vampires? It's artifacts. Where are my artifacts at? Please, if you're an artifact, stand up and, just know that you are a permanent fixture in this league. You will be there throughout the entire thing. This league's about artifacts. It's about map tokens. It's about treasures, clues, blood tokens, however you make it happen. That's what this league is about. This is Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We are heading into week 3, but this is week 2. I am your host with the most, your Don John DeMarco, your Goku, or go home. I am a 3-time top 8er, a 2-time league winner, and one time I won a feature match using some pretty weird cards. Go check out my feature match that I played this week against Paul S. Young Chunk. Welcome back, Paul. I go back with Paul. Paul was there in Strixhaven, my first league. I actually played a couple games against him. Had a bunch of great chats. Have really missed Paul, so I'm glad Paul's back. But go check out my feature match game with Paul, where I played a card that I believe Richard said, it's a bad card, but it's interesting. And it's 2 and a blue, instant, exile that permanent, and then the owner of that permanent can cast it again for free whenever they want. Well, not whenever they want. They have to use restrictions. I don't remember what the card's called. It's weird. And I'm off that color now. But I played a pretty neat game against Paul S. Youngchunk in the feature matches. Get in the feature matches. Sign up. Be a part of it. And, support your community. This is Hunt the Week. It is a weekly Magic the Gathering podcast about the Arena Sealed Gauntlet League that we love, that we play in, that we need in our lives. And this is Lost Caverns of Ixalan Week 2. We got a lot to go over this week, so let's go ahead and get digging.
Digging in the dirt, digging in the dirt. Digging in the dirt, digging in the dirt. We're moving the earth. It's hard work, hard work, hard work. Digging in the dirt.
That is right. As I record, it is 4:52 on Thursday, day before the week resets, and this is your top 8. Kayla G. Why Not, 9-1. Jordan M. J. M. Tron, 9-1. Lot P. Lot, 8-2. Jack H. Rakic, 8-2. Johnny M. Johnny, 8-2. Adam S. Wisma, 7-2. Philip B. Plipster, 7-3. Duncan M. Rob Roy Duncan, 7-3. Oh, man, I tell you, I've lost to Caleb. I've lost to Jordan. Pretty sure I've lost to Johnny. And then I lost to Cody, who's 9 right now. I got to stop playing people that are ranked in the top 20. That's what I got to do, because I'm 3-6. I'm not having a great league. 2-3 last week. 2-3 this week. Again, check out my feature match with Paul. That was one of my 2 wins this week. My deck is just, I don't know. It's not there. But like I said, I told Dan later on in this episode, I'm just speed running these mechanics. I love the mechanics, and I just want to experience each loss as fast as I can, because I'm having a great time. But yeah, 3-6, I'm down there. This is the worst I've done in a long time. Out of 69 nice people, I am currently number 44. Great OMW, though. Come at me with my OMW. Maybe if I keep playing people in the top 20, it'll work out for me. Just a quick editor's note. I keep saying I'm 3-6. I'm 4-6, which is a little better. I don't know why I kept saying it. Let's just correct that now. Thank you. I'm having a great time. I hope you are too. I think this is a really cool, fun league. Again, I really love the mechanics that we're going through, and it's fun. I'm just having a great time going around to different planes, seeing all the different stuff. It's Chaos-y, but it's LCI. I think it's great. I think the different paths are really cool. Right now, archaeologists and relic hunters are kind of dominating the top 8, but there's a whole mess of adventurers right outside. So you can't really say one path is better or worse than the other. At least not yet. You can't. So post your deck in Deck Clinic if you're not sure what to do. Like me, I'm starting to take some advice from some better players. Your Adam S., your Rakic. These guys took a look at my deck and they kind of argued a little bit about what I should be doing, but I'm going to follow their lead. I'm going to do what those guys say because they're doing good and they know the format, and I need the help. So thanks, guys, for looking at my deck. And if you're not doing great, ask your fellow committee members. People in the league, they want to know, right? They want to help. I saw Dan post his deck. He's coming on the show, and Dan's wonderful, and even he needs help sometimes, right? We all need a little help. Sometimes we don't get the format. Sometimes the cards just don't drop the way we want them to. I want to talk a little bit about the Cons League that's coming up because there's been some discussions about it here on the main server and a lot of discussion if you go over to Cody's super secret server. Family Leagues, super fun. Family Leagues have been awesome. Family Leagues, there's been a few of them. And Cons is a beloved, right? Cons is a beloved draft format. People love Cons. So many people have come on the show and said Cons is their favorite draft format, right? Like, this is going to be a big one, not just because of the family aspect, but because this is such a beloved and just well-designed, really fun, really cool set. But family leagues are beloved, and Chris York was mentioning that. My good buddy Chris York said, these are a staple, and it's been a while since we've done one, right? It's been a minute. So let's go ahead and let's take a journey through the family leagues that we've done so far, and hopefully that gets some hype and build up around for this new one, right? So I think the first family league was Strixhaven. All the people came in, different houses, right? There's one person in charge of each house, or each school. There were schools in Strixhaven? Yeah, they were schools. So they were the deans, right? They were the deans. And these heavy hitters, right? It was Maxime, Chris York, Richard, and two more people who I don't remember. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. But it was a bunch of the league stalwarts, right? Like people, big names. Maxime, Chris York, Richard. These are big names. Strixhaven was super fun. You had the champion matches where the highest ranked people are in each school would fight every week. They would fight publicly. There was a lot of trash talk. This was before we had feature matches. So this was just two people trash talking as they played, right? Or it was them muting and then everyone else on the server would kind of discuss what was going on in trash talk. It was my first league. I came in. I did great, which also helps. It helps that I had a good time. But it was also just, I don't know, the mechanics worked really well. Chris York is my dean. I've said this 1,000 times. Really just was like the motivator that I needed to really come into the league and come out guns blazing and kind of get myself out there. And that was really important, right? Having these family members, these leaders, right, that could push people in certain directions was just great. I loved it. It was really good. Then we had the Werewolf League. Not technically a family league, but it did split the server. I'm trying to do leagues that split the server. So we had the Werewolf League, and this is your classic, werewolf or mafia style party game where half it was like a third of the league were werewolves, and everyone else was a human, and you didn't know who was who. Well, the werewolves knew who the werewolves were and who the humans were, but the humans had no idea. And I think it was like if half the top 8 are werewolves, the werewolves win. And if there's more than 4 humans in the top 8, then the humans win. This one was not as good, mostly because there's no strategy in being a werewolf. I was a werewolf, which was cool. I wanted to be a werewolf. But there's no strategy. It's like just play your games and win, and don't let people know that you are a werewolf. And they also figured it out. Somebody figured out an algorithm based on who people had played and hadn't played, and they nailed it figured it out. It broke it. It figured out who all the werewolves were. So like by week 5 or 4, when this algorithm comes out, you can't even do the strategy of don't let people know you're a werewolf because they all already know. Humans won that one handedly. It wasn't great. Fun idea. It's a fun idea. It just didn't work out. Then you had the Vampire League, which I think is really cool and interesting. Vampire League was 2 people were chosen to be heads of vampires at the very start of the league. There was the Markovs and the other ones. And everybody they beat became a vampire. So you only had 2 vampires at the start, one on each side, and then as the league went on, the entire league gets split into these two sides as they become vampires or as they die a human. Because some people didn't play vampires or died before all the vampires came out. There was a lot of vampires pretty quickly. That was a pretty neat one. I actually thought that was pretty cool. I remember going on a big run, like a 7-0 run on my death matches as a human, because they're giving out, they used to give out packs, promo packs. They were giving out promo packs for things, and one was, beat the most vampires without becoming one. And man, I went on a run that was super, super fun for me. And I won a promo pack. Boy, wasn't that a good time. Eventually died, and on my last loss, I guess I became a vampire. I don't really remember how that all worked. But that was Vampire League. The league split in two. I never really got to be a vampire, so I didn't get to experience that league in that way. But I thought it was cool. Cooler than werewolves anyway. Like werewolves I just think was not the best. Then we had SNC League, and this is the big one, right? This was the return to Family League. It had been over a year since Strixhaven. A bunch of new blood had come into the servers, and a bunch of family dons. Instead of being a dean for our college, we were Mafia dons. I was a Riveteer. Cody was Obscura. Steve Strout was one. Ryan Butt Munches was one, and Damien was one. Those were your 5 family heads. And it was very similar to Strixhaven. Everybody kind of broke up into their own things. And a lot of cool things came from that league. The podcast, this show that I'm doing right now. This started as a fun thing I did for the Riveteers called Riveteer Radio. I did every week to kind of catch people up on what was going on and hype up my team. Cody had started a special super secret server that his team went to, and they destroyed. That was really the problem with that, is that the one team kind of just ran away with it. And then, Obscura just was they did so good. But it brought us Cody's server, and, Raphael came in on that league. That was a big league for a lot of newcomers. I believe that may have been Miranda's first league, the Great Watcher. But it was good. I don't think it was as good as Strixhaven, mostly because it felt one-sided. One family just kind of ran away with it. And there, I don't remember the mechanics. There was a weird stash mechanic that had to get patched in like the first or second week. I don't know. I forget. I just remember not enjoying it as much as the last one. And now we have Cons of Tarkir coming up. So I've enjoyed all the family leagues. I'm not saying, SNC was bad. It was not a bad league. It just wasn't, I don't know, 6 weeks of family stuff, and after 3 you realize you're not going to win. It's like 3 more weeks of losing. It's not always fun. At some point you play to be an individual and not as a team, is kind of how these work out. And boy, there's lots of conspiring and backstabbing and scouting, and this is when the spikiest of the spikes come out, and oh boy, it's a time. It really is a time. So I'm super excited for Cons of Tarkir. Not because it's a great set, not because it's one of my favorite draft sets of all time, and I haven't played this thing in years. I am ready to flip some morph cards and see some big dragons, but also because I really like the family leagues. It's a different kind of community. The community changes during these leagues, and they become closer for small periods of time within their little bubbles and groups. Oh, it's so cool. I cannot wait, and I cannot get hyped enough about it. I hope that you are hyped up. You are excited, because I am. So you should be, right? That's how it works. Well, this week I had on, a great guest. I always have on great guests. It's what I do. I figure out, I look at everybody in the league and I go, who's the best guest I could get on this week? And I think I did pretty good. So let's go ahead and start the discovery.
How can we stand in the light of discovery and not act?
I had on Dan A., the beatdown bringer. I was in Texas a month ago, and I got to meet Dan, and he was just like the nicest, most lovable, sweetest person ever. Dan's so cool. I think Dan is like the coolest. And I wanted to get him back on the show and an actual interview, and not just a drunken taco spewing whatever we were talking about for 5-10 minutes. It was fun. But I had all these people on. Noah, Dan, Miranda, Emmett. I got to dive in deep with all of them again because it was so fun. But I had Dan on the show. We talked Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We talked video games. We talk League. We talk a lot of stuff. So go ahead and listen to that interview right now. All right, everyone, join me this week as we discover with none other than Dan A, aka the Beatdown Bringer. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, it's doing great, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Off to a great start, 4-1 in week one. I mean, that's got to feel good.
It is the bar. Like if it's not 4-1 in the first week, you're like, come on, I'm never gonna win.
Well, you're out there, you're playing well. We're just starting week two. You haven't played any of your games yet, but well, we're deep in Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and we got to get into it. I want to know, how's your deck? What path did you take and why? Give me the scoop, Dan.
Okay, so we got honestly my least favorite colors. I really wanted to be in Jeskai, not just because those are like my favorite colors, but as it turns out, I think that's sort of like what the meta for this set is looking like, blue red versus like blue white. But I'm in dinos. I got big stompy dinos. I describe my deck as being just like a big sledgehammer.
Nice.
There's not a lot of finesse to it. It's just like play a 3-mana 6/6 and just hit them in the face.
Wait, you got 3-mana 6/6s? That's a card?
I do. I have a 3-mana 6/6, and I got two of the little like baby dinos that like fight on ETB.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So I'm playing big dumb dinos. And all my friends, they've got like the fun blue black, blue white decks that I could trade decks in a heartbeat if given the option, but it's working out, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, you're 4-1 with your big dumb dinos and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Open your Dreadmaws, play them. You're gonna have a good time.
What's going on with you? What's your deck?
Oh, it's bad. Here's the thing. It's not that my deck is bad. It's just my games are not breaking the way I need them to.
Yeah.
Like I'm having a lot of like, I'm one turn behind. I played Jordan today and we went to game 3 and I got him down to 1 and then lost. Like I'm currently 2-3 last week, and then I am 1-3 this week. So I'm 3-6, which I think is the worst I've done in a long time.
Damn, my heart goes out to you, man, because I know if I was 3-6, I would not be having a great time. So
here's the thing. I like the set, and I really like the design of the league. Like I'm speed running it. That's kind of how I see it. I'm speed running this design. It's a lot of fun. I went path 1. My vampire wasn't very good. That's fine.
What vampire?
Oh, it was an uncommon, the 5-mana 3/3 with death touch and lifelink that gives your other legendary creatures +2/+2.
Huh.
Yeah, it's nothing special. And yeah, it's fine. Again, I'm liking the league. I'm liking what's going on, but my deck, and I'm in blue red. I was in Jeskai. I cut the white because I thought maybe it was making me too slow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not going my way this league. But that's fine. I'm due for a bad one.
Damn, you're a really good sport. That's something I always need to learn how to be better at, is like learning how to lose and it not be the end of the world.
Well, if you would have caught me yesterday when I was on my 0-4 streak, it would have been a little bit more of a down conversation.
Yeah, well, props to you for still being like in a good humor mood enough to do these interviews and keep making content for the league.
Well, hey, it's hey, I love doing it, and like I said, I actually do really like this set, and I do really like this league. So if I sputter out, that's fine. I'll just draft more of the set and watch people play. That's no problem.
Yeah, good attitude, really good attitude.
What path did you take and why? So you went path 3, right? The archaeologist.
I did. I'm not gonna lie. So let me just start off by saying I think the design's great. I love design that's thematically like involved, lines with like the sets mechanics. I like the fact that there's like choice. That being said, I have ADHD. I have the attention span of a goldfish. There's too much stuff for me to read. So I sort of just, my friends, they love metagaming. So they're the ones that will spend the hours doing the reading and planning for me. And they're like, oh, you're doing dinos, go path 3. And I went, okay.
Yeah, that's all you need to know, really, honestly. You're going to get a nice dino at some point, and you're in the dino colors, so you're probably going to be able to play it. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, and honestly, props to the league committee because I remember or at least whoever's in charge for design, they asked for feedback on the paths. And I remember my feedback being like, hey, I'm concerned about mom. It was pretty impactful in terms of like its role in the last league. Uh and I remember them making the change where you can only pick one pack out of set.
Yeah.
And I really liked them being responsive to that. So that was one of the other options I like Path 3 is because it gives you the choice for packs.
Let me ask you this then, because I think that's a great question. What are the choices? Mom is the obvious choice, right? Like
Yeah.
after mom, what are you doing?
Sure. So and I just want to point out that I think Mom is particularly good in the set because Blue Black in that set was the mill mechanic,
Oh yeah.
which obviously works very good with Escape and was very good in that set. But for this set, I think something that I'm personally considering is Evan honestly suggested one, which is not my least favorite set, but it does have a lot of artifact synergy, right? Like
Tons of
little,
artifacts.
yeah, like even those toxic mites, they just like litter the field. If you're doing like red, white, something, you tap that stuff for, triggers.
Yeah.
There's also Bro, if you want to consider Power Stone stuff. Um, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm definitely going to take Mom first just because I feel like it's hard to mess up there.
Yeah.
But depending on how the pool then shapes up to the next reward pack choice, I'm definitely going to consider taking one.
Interesting.
Even like equipment in that set, right? If I'm doing red, white, green, like the fact
Yeah.
that equipment, like it gives you like that passive thing on the battlefield to just like tap if you need to while also making creatures. I feel like there's a lot of utility there.
Interesting. Because yeah, I see bro as the artifact set one. You're right, tons of artifacts, and not one that I would have thought of because I don't want to go back ever,
Yeah, I
but
hate it. I do. It is my least favorite set for like a while. I'm not gonna lie. I hate the design. I think Toxic is nonsense, but anyway.
yeah, Toxic was not fun. Not a good time. And speaking of mechanics, Toxic not being a fun one, Dan, you've played in plenty of leagues at this point. What was your first
Yes.
league?
My first league was DMU.
Nice.
I loved it, and it's not just because I won it. Um, it's just a fun set. It's a janky set, like, but in a way that I don't mind. Like for the league, it was a bit oppressive towards the end, right? Because everyone was just doing like Sultai soup. But
Yeah.
from like just a draft or sealed perspective, it's like, oh, you've got a toolbox. You can like go into as many colors as you want, and I don't know. There's a lot of, I think, reward for creative, for like player expression and like build. There's a lot of build versatility in the set.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
And but it was a while ago. You've been in a lot of leagues. You've seen plenty of mechanics in leagues. I'd like to know what's your favorite league or favorite league mechanic that you've
Oh,
been a
dang.
part of.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity because yeah, it just gets me to reflect on. I think it's one of the best parts of the league, honestly. As much as I love like not love complaining, I just I'm of the belief that like uh what do you call it? Constructive criticism is like a reflection of love, like you only want to like give uh a response to something if you're invested in it. But
Sure.
as far as league mechanics, I mean, I love the chaos stuff. Um, I love things that like even Lord of the Rings, right? Like even if stuff didn't always work in terms of like how it affected like individual games, the fact that they were willing to try stuff,
Hmm.
I always have respect for any efforts in any sort of like whether it's league design mechanics or like artistic expression, writing, like things that go for something rather than just like trying to play it safe. So I like the leagues that reflect that, the chaos leagues, honestly. You have like particular favorites?
Ooh, that's a good question. I love the family leagues. That's been always been a big thing.
I've never
It's
had one.
they're coming back with cons, which I think is the next one, right? So you'll be there. It's coming. High hopes for the next family league.
Is it like a team thing? Like everyone's
Yep.
on.
It like breaks the server into like 4 or 5 teams,
Dang, that
and
sounds like
then it's like team with most wins in the end wins, really.
That's
Um,
awesome.
oh, it's super fun. And then it's a lot of us versus them, and everyone gets their own super secret server, and everyone has like
Yeah.
plans and plots. It's a lot of fun.
It does sound like a blast.
And they back in when we had it in Strixhaven, they would make the highest ranked person in each family had to publicly play. And like
Oh, dang.
it was super fun because they would make a big deal about it. Like there'd be like, 20 people watching like the heads of their team and rooting for them.
Man. Yeah,
Super
we need
cool.
that.
I hope they bring that back, even though people didn't like it, but
Why do you not like it?
because people didn't want to play the toughest matches every week,
Sure. Okay.
And if like there were people who like they were number one for weeks on end, but then their thing tanked because they had to play the best players for 3 weeks in a row.
Sure.
There's downsides, but I do agree it was super fun, and I don't care, bring it back. Every time I talk about it, people get excited. It was a fun thing.
Yeah, I mean, as the server gets larger too, I think it would be really good to have sort of a set like that where it brings, community together as
Yeah.
like the forefront of like one of the league's things to hit, right? It's like we're here not just to play, but to like foster community.
It's honestly that's how I got so invested in the league so quick. Is
Yeah.
like it was a big part of it. It was super fun, and like a lot of those people are either still here or like I can't even imagine who like watching Dan play Jordan every week. Wouldn't that be great? Oh man,
Oh.
what great games we'd get.
I don't mean to like derail the interview, but and you can cut this out if it's just like I'm just curious how long you've been a part of the league itself.
I came in Strixhaven, um, so like 2 to 3 years, probably three-ish
Yeah.
years at this point.
Damn. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and it was long story short, Chris R. Sinkwater,
Love that guy.
he found the league over, start a pandemic, and I was sitting around. That's when I was actually streaming. I was streaming Magic a bunch during the pandemic because I had nothing else to do. And he would always text us like his deck, and he'd be like, "Hey, I lost a game. What do you think I should add?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? What is this thing?" And then I joined up on the next one, and yeah, been a part of it ever since. Just
Yeah,
I love it.
I get it. This is great. Yeah.
Oh, it's my favorite way to play Magic now. It's awesome. But I'm 3-6, so I am.
It shows how much you love. Yeah, yeah.
uh, Dan, I think you're just such a great, fantastic player, and I'd love to get what your advice is for someone on how they could be a better limited player. Just
Oh, God.
basic, generic,
Yeah.
But I respect your play a lot. So and
Oh,
I'm 3-6, man. I need the help. So
That means so much. I'm not gonna lie. I I I'm very flattered. I don't think I'm particularly that good. I think I still have a lot to learn. And I think one of my biggest strengths and weaknesses is that really uh I don't really like learning. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I mean by that, I think a lot of people they get clued in into like the things that are right or correct.
yeah,
Um, and so someone that I really admire is Sam Black, for example.
sure.
And I think the reason he is so good at finding his, the things that other people aren't looking for is because I don't think he's a player that's concerned about like data. I don't think he's concerned about statistics. I don't think he's concerned about like the right and wrong ways to do things. I think he's willing to like take risks and just like do the thing that feels right.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of risk reward there. And there are many sets where I will go in doing my thing. And this one in particular, I think is like a good reflection on it because I have not figured it out yet. I have
Yeah.
not been doing super great in drafts or in sealed. But I feel like going down that route gives you the opportunity to, like find out what does work for you. Like you can't be the best by emulating somebody who's already figured it out. You can only like make new ground by, doing it your way, I think. And I think more people need to be willing to, 17 land data is great to an extent, but it doesn't really paint the full picture. You need to be willing to like, make mistakes.
I love it.
Yeah, and also then to like say your opinion with enough indication as if it's the correct thing.
No, I love it. You're right. I need to turn off. I use this when I draft. I have a thing that just pops up like grades on cards. I need to turn that thing off. That thing's
Yeah.
not helping me because I'm drafting bad cards, and then they don't work in the deck. These
But also, like,
generic things.
when you turn it off, it forces you to think it out loud. Like, think about, okay, this card is good, but why is it good here? What is it doing for my deck in like general? Like, what's the overall game plan? And so this is mainly we're talking about like deck building.
Sure.
As far as like playing, I think it's strange, man, because I think we talked about this last interview, but I think like night and day differences between in person and online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just like general idea though is like everything information is key, and the ways to glean and gather the information and how you like use it to your advantage also between online and offline are very different.
Hover over Dan's graveyard. That's what I learned.
Exactly.
Look at his graveyard. Make him think. Make him think something. That's what I learned from Dan. Start hovering, or don't hover, or don't hover when you got
it. Was so funny. We were playing in the open with Emmett and Randa, and Emmett was like the opponent had some card revealed in their hand, and Emmett was like hovering over it, and Miranda and I were like, stop, they can see that you're looking at it. So Miranda is in that camp as well. We're like, I will never give anyone an opportunity to have any idea of what I might be thinking.
I love it. Yeah. Watch out for Dan. He's rascally.
I mean, if I was a really good player, if I was a really patient player, I would do that in the other direction, right? Like if I didn't have something in my graveyard, I might look at my graveyard, but I just can't be bothered, man.
You're not a full control guy throwing it on full control.
Respect to it. I do have respect for it. The issue is, I think like it's as obvious that you're on full control that when you're not, right? Like if your opponent sees you taking stops, like at every before and end phase, like, okay, got it. He doesn't have anything. He's just pretending to have something. So Arena needs to. The thing is, they'll never go to Magic Online, right? Because that's just that's not accessible for many people.
It's not. It's not flashy. It's not shiny.
It's not. So it's always going to be imperfect. The meta differences between like in real life and offline playing, but I mean, the holes are there. You got to take advantage of them. Like, I don't know.
No, I love it. That's something I don't think about enough. Is the head games. The head games. I love head games. I do this all the time when I'm playing like two-headed giant.
Yes.
Because you can talk to your opponent, right? And when you're in person, and I'll have a handful of lands, and I'll point to my teammate and be like, we save this for after the board wipe, right? Like we got to save this for after the board wipe.
God.
And like, it never works, but I'm having fun.
I mean, as long as it depends on your straight face. I've never had a good poker face, but if you can pull it off, go for it.
Oh no, me neither. Dan, I'd love to know, what is your favorite win condition?
Oh,
right? That's a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the one where I play a 6/6 dino and hit them in the face. I don't like those ones.
No, because that gets a stun counter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who's got time for not untapping? My favorite win cons are it's really probably the most toxic aspect of the way I like playing the game is I'd rather the opponent just concede than me have to do anything. It's not good. It's like it's certainly psychopathic behavior, but like, yeah, incremental value. Just like the way I love winning games is by reducing the chance to lose. Like make it as close to 0% as possible. Like I want it to be a sure thing.
Yeah.
And there are pros and cons to the way you play this game, to that game plan, because obviously the longer you let the game go on, the more chance you give your opponent to like draw a 1-card win con, which are also plentiful in this set.
This is a bomby set.
It is a very bomby set.
But that makes it kind of fun when you have the bombs.
Yeah. I do have to give a shout out to my first league match this set. And I am also going to go on air and personally apologize for how salty I got about it. But
ooh, I love it.
I was playing against Steve, and he had the 8-mana demon guy.
It's always that card. I lost that game to that card yesterday. That I was like, oh, I got this game in the bag, and then 5 turns later, I was like, oh no, I just lost this game.
He had a particularly vicious setup though, because he had that guy the pup that brings stuff back, and Bartholomew.
Oh
So
wow.
what he would do is he played the card. He would bring back the dog, bring back Bartholomew from his graveyard,
Uh-huh.
brings the demon back to his hand, and now he has an instant source sacrifice effect
Yeah.
on his. You can't swing into him because his stuff will just die and he'll play the thing back. But on
Mhm.
his turn, he can just sacrifice all of his guys and then play the demon again. And it's just there's like nothing you can do about it. And he did that to me 2 games in a row. My first game of the league, and I just like I was like, okay, I'm going home.
Yeah, that's I would be pretty salty myself. That
Just,
demon. Oh, that's a feel bad card.
but I yeah, this is my public apology to Steve for being an absolute terrible sport about it. Yeah.
No. It happens. It happens to all of us, right? I know a lot of times I'm streaming a game and I just get stopped and I don't say anything and just like close my stream, exit the channel. I'm just like, all right, everybody, hope you like that. I'm
Oh
gonna go
man.
do something else. All right, Dan, we asked the league for their questions and they did not disappoint this week, of course. Our first question comes from Miranda, Black Canary, the Great Watcher. Miranda would like to know, what is your favorite / least favorite colors and archetypes to play?
Oh, I mean anything that's just like I want to put stats on the field and kill my opponent quickly. I just like I it's it I just like I like tricky things.
Tricky things. Explain.
Um, Oftentimes the correct way to play Magic is just to curve out,
Yeah.
and it works, but like I'm not interested in it.
I think that is a problem with this set. Is this set I think is a lot of fun, but when you run into those aggro decks that just go super curve
Yeah.
out and like that's when this set isn't fun, and that is
Yeah,
like the right thing to do a lot of the time.
it's like I just sat down, man. Like
Yeah, here's my 3 or 4 2 drops by turn 3, and I'm gonna just put a bunch of counter things on them, and the game's done real quick. It's like okay, fine.
that,
But
and then also like stuff like the 2 drop, like the bat that takes your card. It's just
yeah,
like, come on, dude.
yeah, that card's not very fun.
I just sat down.
She'd also like to know: is there a set, what has been a recent favorite and least favorite set of yours?
Oh, what do we have before this? We had Lord of the Rings.
We had Lord of the Rings. We had Mom. We had
Was pretty good.
but Bro DMU Shadows, Eldraine,
Eldraine's okay.
Commander Masters. You a Commander Masters guy?
Oh no, I did like WoW. I liked WoW a lot.
What was fun? Phyrexia, All Will Be One, Brothers War, Dominaria United, New Capenna.
New Capenna was pretty tight. If only there was some color balance. Yeah, I'll go with WoW. I like WoW.
Well, and you weren't a fan of Phyrexia, All Will Be One, right?
That one is so it's like it's a double answer, right? Because we talked about the thing I don't like. That was the thing that one really liked. One really liked just going 1, 2, 3 and
Yep.
ending the game on turn 4.
Yep. Who could forget the wonderful, wonderful fun mechanic in Mon League? But
You
yeah.
just love starting at 10 life.
Nope. It's like those games are like we're one. You could tell who was going to win by turn 2 or turn 3, like almost every game.
Like,
It's so obvious.
I don't want to watch it. I don't want to play it.
Yep. It was not a good time.
Yeah.
Um, we already covered league mechanics, Miranda. Sorry. Um, Wesley Gigavoltaic would like to know, when did you start playing Magic?
We did this one. We did this one
I
before.
know, but this is a new player, so he hasn't listened to the last interview. He doesn't know I
When
used
was
to
a little
ask this
baby boy.
question.
I was a little baby boy. My brother was older by like 4 years, and he's like, "Here's another way that I can utilize big brother power."
Yep.
And he instilled an arch nemesis story in me. It's like I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna spend way more time playing Magic, and you're gonna like have a family and kids.
Does he still play Magic?
He doesn't, but it was really cute. For like his son's birthdays, I like got them 2 starter decks.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yeah, like they're not at the age yet where they'll get it, but like he says as soon as they're, at that sort of age that we were when we started playing Magic, he's gonna definitely give them to them. So hopefully, hopefully the older brother is nicer to to his than mine was.
Evan C would like to know, you seem like a gamer through and through. Have you
Mm.
enjoyed any video games that somehow helped you improve as a Magic player?
Ooh, wow. That is a great question because I think all gamers can definitely testify to like, you ever play a game for so long that you start dreaming about
Oh yeah.
it, like mechanically? Um, I think like the more you play different games, I think there's a lot of applications to just like the games that aren't the same that you play, but also just like real life situations or the way you think about like analytic behavior. I can't think of like specific games, for instance, but like, and I know this is, I cheated a little bit. I looked at Raph's question, so this will be a little answer for this, but I used to play a lot of League of Legends. And um, that game, for example, would teach you the importance of like playing the objective over like I don't know, dilly-dallying. And so the application of something like Magic would be like, okay, you got to think like long term, like three turns ahead instead of just thinking about like the turn in front of you, you
Yeah.
know. So that would be like a very basic example of how different games you play can inform stuff. But as far as like application of Magic, I could say like if you don't really understand how to beat a color pair, play that color pair. You know,
I like it.
yeah, just like get different perspectives on things. It'll also help the way you look at you know things.
And what are some games you've been playing lately that you've been enjoying? Because
Oh
I
God,
do know you play tons of games. I see
I
you played
do.
the
I've been obsessed with Baldur's Gate 3. I've been
yeah.
just like it's ruining my life. I didn't get Dungeons and Dragons until I played this game, and
Okay.
now I'm in a Dungeons and Dragons group. I'm like planning a
Nice.
Dungeons and Dragons league.
Oh,
Like,
that's awesome.
yeah, it's just, and I'm not like a huge fan of. I love competitive games, but this one I'm just like, damn. I don't know. It's I feel like a little kid again. It's just great.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best feeling, when you
Yeah,
find a game that like it's all you want to do and it just makes you so happy. Oh, that's
yeah.
a good time.
It's like an adventure, and I don't need to beat anybody because I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's to me, it's like what as a kid, like you're reading books and you have that sense of magic, and it feels like reading a book. Although I do need to read books more.
Hey, they make Dungeons and Dragon books. They make magic books. Go check them out at your local library.
Do they?
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Are they good?
That's how they used to do the stories. Is they used to do books.
Damn, really?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of magic, like Ice Age books and Planes Change. Oh
Damn.
my gosh, man, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a reader, but I know there's a bunch of old someone get Jeremy on the case. I know he knows about these old magic books. Sorry, Jeremy. I miss you, man. Come back. I hope
Okay,
everything's going good.
give us the update in general chat.
Cody Race would like to know, why are you so brave?
What the hell does that mean, Cody?
I don't know. I don't know what that means
It's because of
either.
Cody. That's why. I look at Cody and I see his antics.
Oh.
I do. I obviously you know Cody quite well. I know, right?
I don't know that I would say I know him quite
As
well. I know
anyone,
him as
as much
well.
as anyone
I know
can.
him about as well as anybody else on the server does, I would say. Yeah.
I used to, and I don't know how old Cody is, so it might be like very what's the word? I don't know if the word's pretentious, but like, I'm not much older. I'm 31, right?
I think you're right around his age.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I used
somewhere
to
around
be
there.
very chaotic, live very chaotically. I do admire the chaotic way in which he lives. I know he works in like a bar and he like goes to these insert we can't talk about any of the stuff he does.
I
But...
Cody is so. Did you see Cody had Maxime over for the weekend? What do you think they got up to? That's so
Yeah,
crazy
I'm
to me.
jealous. Like, I want to be there,
I know, right? Like Cody and Maxie, like man, oh man, Magic's like the least of anything that those two are going to get up to.
Yeah, I gotta visit Cody. I gotta go to his club. I feel like he would be a great person to do any sort of experience with, whether it be clubbing or like trying out you know, different experiences. I don't know what the audience for
Oh,
this show is. So
League dream is to make it to wherever Cody is and
yeah,
just experience that for a day.
physically, spiritually, any which way.
Yeah, it just to be there and be a part of it. Jack H. Rackick would like to know, what is your favorite anime and why is it Spy X Family?
Dude, it's just adorable. I'm not a big anime fan. and I love this show. I like old anime.
Sure. You've
Like
got
I'm a
an
big fan
Akira
of
poster up behind you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like the classics. I like Evangelion. I like Cowboy Bebop.
Oh,
I like the
my man.
Toonami era
Yeah.
anime. But I'm not like I don't watch like a lot of contemporary anime, but like I saw this show and I don't know if you know anything about it, but it's just sweet. Like it's well
Oh.
written. It's just like it follows this so my avatar is the main character is this little girl who's also like a psychic, and as a result she hears adults thinking stuff, and she has to pretend like she doesn't know what. Anyways, it's this wonderful blend of like very real adult subject matter. It's not like a infantile show, but it also just has this like very innocent representation of what it really means to be like a kid living in an adult world. And I don't know, it's both endearing and honest and warms my heart. I love the show. You should go check it out if you haven't.
I love it. Look at this. Dan's giving out anime recommendations. And I don't know anything about the show, but because of you, and like I always associate that face with you, and I of course see that face everywhere, right? Like it's
Like once you see Anya, her name's Anya, like you'll get why she's just fucking hilarious. Excuse my language. She's just very, very funny. Very, very funny.
and real quick from Raphael, what
Yes.
got you into team fight tactics, and do you play the Rift at all? It means nothing to me.
I used to. It ruined my life. In college, I played quote unquote professionally, and by that I mean I was part of my college team.
Nice.
And 2 weeks into it, I went, I'm out, dude. I just like it. You never want the thing you love playing to feel like a job,
Yeah.
and it did. Like and also it was like a sort of thing where there were like 5 people in charge on a 5-player game. It just was no fun.
Yeah.
So I used to play League. The reason I like Team Fortress Tactics is it's a draft game. Like I love draft games.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with team builders, but it's not cards, but it's basically cards.
Was it like an auto battler?
It's not a battler.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested into that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have options. You get to pick options and make choices with them. Love any game that does that.
Yeah. I want to ask real quick on the air. I saw you playing this game, Backpack.
Yeah. It's another one. That's
Is
another
that is that good? Should I buy it? I saw you play it and it looked fun, but I couldn't tell if
Is it out? Because
I think so.
okay,
Maybe.
so that one I was playing was just a demo.
Oh, it looks really fun. It looked
It
cool.
is really fun. I played it ad nauseum, and to the point where I was like, oh, I've figured out everything there's to figure out with this demo
Uh-huh.
till the real thing releases. So I haven't been playing it anymore. But if as soon as it comes out, if it has already come out, I'm probably gonna check it out again.
Oh, cool. Well, maybe
It
I'll
was
just
very
wait
fun.
wait until you play it, and I'll just watch you play it for like hours again. Because it looks like a good time.
Yeah, it was great. That and a game called Cobalt's Chrome or something. Anyway, there have been a lot of basically every game I play is some variation of a draft game.
No, I love it. That's what I play a lot of roguelikes. I've been playing a lot of these card games. I've been really into Monster Train recently. I love
Yeah, dude, that was great. I saw you talking about that. I
It's
love
fun. It's all I played for like a few weeks. It was a good time.
It's so
Yeah,
satisfying.
it's well, wait, this is going to kick us out any second. So we got to say goodbye
Okay.
before that happens. Dan, thank you so much for coming on the show. Always appreciate it.
Thank you, John. Always a pleasure.
Hey, good luck this week. I've got all my games played. I don't have to play Dan this week, just like I missed Jordan last week. Oh, I missed Dan this week. Too bad. Oh, buddy, too bad.
10 wins in a row. You got it.
Oh, yeah, we're coming back. All right, good luck. Check me out on the feature match tonight at 7 p.m.
Ooh, nice. I'm rooting for you.
Hey, oh boy, thank you.
Talk to you soon, man.
Again, I think Dan is just, I don't know. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's got an even better heart. I couldn't say, and he's good. Why is he so good at the game? Can't he just be like not as good? He's so good at all this other stuff. Like he's such a nice, cool, wonderful person. Does he also have to be just amazing at Magic? Is that fair? I don't know. But maybe they go hand in hand. So be a nice, better person, and maybe you can be better at Magic. Maybe that's what I'm learning today. Well, I'm 3-6. I know you're doing better than I am, because again, this is the worst. I think I've only ever not finished above the money line, a handful of times, maybe 3 to 4 times. I want to say this is probably gonna be one of those leagues unless I go in some kind of big tear here in the next couple weeks. But hey, now that I got this new deck designed by Rakic and Adam S, aka Wisma, maybe the time is now. Maybe I can turn it around. Someone always does. Why not me? Why not this league? Why not now? And I hope you're enjoying the league again. This is a fun one. I'm having a great time. I hope you are too. The design has been really cool. There's some great new faces out there. Look at this, Duncan M. Rob Roy Duncan. I think they're new. I don't remember that name. And they're in the top 8. And you look down just a little bit. Where is he? Voltaic? Gigavoltaic. Wesley C. This guy's all over Cody's server. He seems like a very nice person. And it just has a lot to say about Magic and uses the strong emoji game. You gotta like someone who has a strong emoji game. Wesley, that's them to a T. I'm seeing a lot of names in this league of people who, have played before and have left and came back because they came back for this one. I love it. I love to see the people come back. Like I'm saying, Young Chunk, Paul S. So happy to have you. And I hope that you're happy when you get to keep a good 7. Because that's what it's all about, right? You want to play the game. You want 7 cards, and you probably want 3 to 4 of those cards to be lands, and that's it. I don't want to keep a 2-lander. I don't want to keep a 5-lander, but I do, and I'm 3 and 6, and that's probably why. And I hope that Shuffler is in your favor. Because if you're keeping 2 lands, that third one better be right on top. When if you're keeping 5, you don't want 5 more on top, right? I think we have all been there. That Shuffler, it is broken. I've got a Arena report up. I know everyone wants them to fix the direct challenge bug. I want them to fix the Shuffler bug because I'm sick of losing, and we got to turn it around, and that's where it starts. It starts with me, it starts with you, and it starts with the Shuffler. I hope everyone is enjoying Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Get excited for cons, and I'll see you all here next week on the show. Bye, everybody.
And then it was the open, and me, Miranda, and Emmett, we did a little sleepover where we
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. We were getting pulls together, and we Miranda and I got in, and then we were up until 2:30 trying to roll with Emmett's pools, but his pools were just really unfortunate.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I missed the open. How'd you guys do?
We had some really good matches. Miranda and I both went 3-1 in the first draft, so we made it to the second draft.
Nice. On day 2?
Yeah, on day 2. And I got to the big gem portion of it, which is fine, next time.
It's still money. I mean, it's not cash, but that's
right.
It's money.
The thing is, I spent about that exact amount of gems.
You broke even. You did great.
That's right. I spent 20,000, got 20,000. But Miranda, she made 1K. It was really nice.
Damn, man, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah. Out of curiosity, you've cashed before, right? How long does it take?
I have cashed once before.
How long does it take to get the money?
Not that long. Oh no, sorry, I've cashed 2 times now. I remember it takes 2 weeks or so. They email you.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Awesome.
It's like a pain in the butt. You have to do an e-wallet thing, but they give you instructions.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll bring you and we'll start. So thank you so much for coming on. Always appreciate it.
Dude, I love doing these. These are fun.
Hey, I love having you on. So this is awesome. And I'm doing a thing. So I'm doing a thing this one where every guest is going to be a different path until I've had someone on that's each path, right? So I had Jordan on last week. He was path 2. You are path 3, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And then we just got to get a path 1er on next week. But I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any specific thoughts about this league yet. I feel like I haven't done enough in terms of because I've only gotten 1 loss, so
you're doing great. Yeah.
Don't have much to say about the path rewards, but
that's fine. Hey, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I'm curious what your thoughts are about the set in general, because it's been so up and down for me. I remember being really excited during pre-release and feeling I understand this set, and then as soon as draft happened, I was I have no idea what's going on.
I've been drafting it a ton. I'm not doing great, but yeah, I do have opinions. So
yeah,
cool. I'll bring you on and we'll get going.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, let's do it.